Today I write not to impress anyone, but to remind myself of the path I choose to walk. The path of self-discipline is not soft, it is not warm, it is not easy. But it is the path that shapes the mind and strengthens the spirit. These are the 7 laws I return to when I feel myself slipping. Control what you can, accept what you cannot. Each day brings things I can shape and things I cannot touch. My effort belongs to the first, my peace belongs to the second. When I try to control everything, I lose myself. When I focus on what is truly mine, my actions, my thoughts, I stand firm. Comfort is an enemy in disguise. Comfort whispers, rest a little longer, but discipline answers, rise. I remind myself that comfort can trap me. Growth lives just past the edge of what is easy. I do not reject comfort because it is bad, but because it weakens my aim when I take too much of it. Your feelings are real, but they are not. Your master, I feel tired, I feel distracted, I feel afraid. These feelings are natural, but they do not get to drive my actions. I can acknowledge them without obeying them. I act based on my values, not my moods. What you do daily shapes who you become. Small habits build strong character. Every day is a chance to practice discipline. Not once in a while, every day. Consistency is harder than intensity, but it is also more powerful. Choose hard things on purpose when. I choose the harder path. I train my will. I lift weight not only with my body, but with my mind. I take the difficult task because it forms me. Discipline grows when I stop running from struggle and instead use it. Delay pleasure. Advance purpose. The world offers quick rewards. Click here. Buy this. Eat that. But quick rewards fade. Purpose lasts. When I delay the easy pleasure and follow the deeper purpose, I build strength that cannot be taken from me. You are responsible for your life, not fate. Not excuses, not other people. Me. My choices. Write my future. This truth is heavy, but it is also freeing. If my life is mine, then I have the power to change it at any moment. Comfort is one of the quietest and most dangerous forces in life. It does not attack you openly. It does not shout. It simply whispers, gently, softly, in moments when your guard is down. It tells you to stay where you are, to avoid effort, to choose the easy option because you deserve it. And although comfort itself is not bad, taking too much of it drains the strength of your mind and slowly weakens your discipline. Discipline grows from struggle, from effort, from doing what is difficult even when you do not feel like it. Comfort, on the other hand, encourages passivity. It teaches your mind to expect ease. When ease becomes the norm, discipline fades. Like a muscle that is never used, the will becomes soft. Most people do not notice this happening. They say, it's just 1 more hour of sleep, or I can skip today, or I'll do it later. These small decisions seem harmless, but repeated often enough, they shape a habit. And habits shape character. In this way, comfort, when indulged too freely, does not simply slow your progress, it changes who you are becoming. Life today offers more comfort than any time in history. Food is a click away. Entertainment follows us everywhere. We can avoid boredom with a swipe, avoid effort with a shortcut, avoid discomfort with endless choices. This abundance feels good, but it can make the mind weaker if we do not manage it with awareness. When everything is easy, even small challenges feel heavy. To grow in discipline, you must learn to step past comfort on purpose. Not because pain is noble, but because growth lives outside the comfort zone. When you choose the harder path, you teach your mind resilience. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than your impulses suggest. Each time you push through, even in small ways, you strengthen the inner muscle that guides you in moments of difficulty. This does not mean you must reject all comfort. Rest has value. Pleasure has value. Recovery is necessary. The danger arises only when comfort becomes your default state, when avoiding discomfort becomes a habit. Discipline requires balance. Rest when it serves your purpose. Push when it sharpens your mind. Choosing discomfort does not always mean dramatic challenges. It can be simple. Wake up when the alarm rings instead of hitting snooze. Finish the task before relaxing. Sit with boredom instead of reaching for your phone. Do the extra step, even when no one is watching. These small acts, repeated daily, build a strong will. Comfort, taken in excess, also blinds you to your potential. When life is too easy, you forget how capable you truly are. You underestimate yourself. You assume that difficulty is a sign to stop rather than a doorway to strength. Stepping into discomfort reminds you of your power. It shows you that you can endure more than you think and accomplish more than you expect. There is also peace in choosing discomfort. When you voluntarily step into challenges, you become less afraid of them. The mind fears what it avoids. But when you face difficulty regularly, it becomes familiar. You stop running from it. This reduces anxiety, increases confidence, and strengthens your character. So ask yourself each day, am I choosing comfort because I need rest or because I fear effort? If it is fear or laziness, step forward. Take the uncomfortable action. Let it teach you. Let it sharpen you. Comfort is pleasant, but it is not your teacher. Discomfort is. When comfort rules your life, discipline fades. When discipline rules your life, comfort becomes a choice, not a trap. Feelings are a natural part of being human. They rise and fall like waves, strong one moment, quiet the next. Some days you feel motivated, other days heavy. Sometimes you feel confident, other times unsure. These emotions are real, and they deserve honesty. But they are not reliable guides for action. If you let your feelings decide your behavior, your life becomes unstable, pulled in every direction by temporary moods. Discipline begins when you understand this simple truth. You can feel something deeply and still choose a different action. Many people believe they must feel ready to act. They wait for motivation before starting. They wait for courage before speaking. They wait for calm before working. But feelings rarely appear at the right time. If you depend on them, you will spend your life waiting, not living. Discipline comes from doing what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing. Your feelings can inform you, but they should not control you. For example, fear can warn you of danger, but it can also lie to you and exaggerate threats. Anger can point out a boundary that was crossed, but it can also push you toward actions you regret. Sadness can help you reflect, but it can also make simple tasks feel impossible. The discipline is not in suppressing these emotions, but in choosing actions based on reason, not on impulses. Think of feelings as weather. They change constantly, sun one day, rain the next. You cannot stop the weather, but you can choose how you prepare for it. If it rains, you don't sit on the ground and complain. You carry an umbrella and keep walking. In the same way, when emotions rise, you acknowledge them, but you keep moving toward your goals. Strength comes from acting with intention, even when your emotions resist. When you are tired but you still begin your work, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fatigue. When you are anxious, but you still take the next step, you build courage. When you are unmotivated but you follow your plan anyway, you become consistent. Every time you choose action over emotion, you strengthen your character. This is not a call to ignore your feelings. Feelings contain information about your inner world. They show what matters to you, what hurts, what needs attention. But there is a difference between listening to feelings and obeying them. You listen to feelings to understand yourself. You obey your principles to guide your behavior. Your values must be stronger than your moods. Feelings are temporary, but values are steady. If your actions come from your values, like discipline, honesty, patience, purpose, your life becomes grounded. Instead of reacting to every emotional wave, you stand like a rock in the tide. This mindset also brings peace. When you stop expecting your emotions to be perfect, you stop fighting them. You allow them to come and go without letting them take control. You no longer judge yourself for feeling unmotivated or afraid. You simply act anyway. That is true freedom. Not the freedom from emotion, but the freedom from being ruled by emotion. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. Strength is not the absence of doubt. It is commitment despite doubt. Discipline is not the absence of emotion. It is clarity despite emotion. Let your feelings speak, but do not let them lead. They are visitors in your mind, not your commanders. Character is not formed in a single moment of strength, nor in one great achievement, nor in sudden inspiration. Character is built quietly, slowly, through the things you do every day. Your habits, those repeated actions you perform almost without thinking, are the threads that weave your identity. They shape the kind of person you become, far more than rare bursts of motivation or isolated decisions. Your habits do not need to be grand or impressive. What matters is consistency. 1 page of reading a day becomes knowledge. 10 minutes of exercise becomes a stronger body. 5 minutes of reflection becomes a clearer mind. The world celebrates big results, but those results are only the visible parts. The real work happens in the invisible, repetitive routines that most people overlook. The mind adapts to whatever it regularly does. If you practice focus every day, your ability to concentrate grows. If you practice distraction every day, your attention weakens. The brain is always learning from your behavior, whether you realize it or not. This is why discipline is so closely tied to habits. Your identity follows your actions. It is easy to underestimate the power of small habits, because their impact is not immediate. A single day of good behavior does not change your life, but neither does a single day of bad behavior. The danger lies in repetition. A small negative habit repeated for years becomes destructive. A small positive habit repeated for years becomes life-changing. Think of habits as the direction of your life's compass. They decide the path you walk long before you notice where the path leads. Even a 1-degree shift, if continued daily, will take you to a completely different destination over time. Building good habits also strengthens your trust in yourself. When you follow through on simple routines, waking up at the time you set, doing the work you planned, keeping the promises you make, you send a message to yourself. I can rely on my own word. This inner trust is the foundation of strong character. Without it, discipline has no ground to stand on. Your habits influence not only your actions, but your self-image. When you practice discipline consistently, you stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles to stay on track. You begin to see yourself as a disciplined person. And when your identity shifts, your behavior naturally follows. So choose your habits carefully. They are not small. They are everything. Your success, your peace, your growth, your strength, your future self, all depend on them. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your daily habits. If you want a better life, build better habits. If you want stronger character, practice it every day, one small act at a time. Strength of mind does not grow in comfort. It grows in challenge, in effort, in doing the things you naturally want to avoid. Choosing difficult tasks is not about seeking pain or proving anything to others. It is about training your inner world to become resilient, disciplined, and unshakable. Every difficult task you face becomes a chance to build a stronger version of yourself. Most people avoid hard things because they fear struggle. They assume that if something is difficult, it must be a sign to step back. But difficulty is not a warning, it's an invitation. It signals the presence of growth. Just as muscles grow when pushed beyond their usual limits, the mind grows when it faces challenges that stretch its boundaries. If you only choose what is easy, your mind remains weak, fragile, and easily overwhelmed by stress. When you deliberately choose the harder path, you teach yourself a powerful lesson. I can endure discomfort. This belief becomes a shield against fear. Instead of running from difficult situations, you face them. Instead of collapsing under pressure, you learn to breathe through it. Little by little, the mind becomes tougher, not harsh, but steady. Hard tasks also reveal your true ability. You often underestimate yourself. You imagine that certain things are impossible or too much for you. But when you step into difficult work, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, you discover strength buried beneath doubt. Every difficult task becomes evidence that you are capable of more than you previously believed. This discovery builds confidence, not the loud confidence that boasts, but a quiet certainty that comes from experience. Difficult tasks also build patience. Many challenging efforts take time. Learning a skill, improving health, building discipline, healing emotionally, creating something meaningful. When you choose to work on hard things, you teach yourself not to rush, not to quit, and not to demand instant results. You learn to value the process rather than the immediate reward. This kind of patience becomes a powerful tool, making you less reactive, less easily frustrated, and more grounded. To choose difficult tasks is also to practice responsibility. Hard tasks force you to take ownership instead of making excuses. They require planning, consistency, and follow-through. They demand that you face your own weaknesses rather than hide from them. In doing so, you grow more honest with yourself. You begin to see where you fall short and where you need to improve. This honesty is not meant to shame you, it is meant to guide you. Another important truth is that the challenges you choose prepare you for the challenges you do not choose. Life will bring hardships whether you invite them or not. If your mind is untrained, these hardships can break you. But if you have already practiced dealing with difficulty through discipline, effort, and deliberate challenge, you are far better prepared. You face unexpected problems with calm instead of panic. You endure setbacks with patience instead of despair. You respond with strength instead of fear. Choosing difficult tasks also makes life richer. Ease may feel comfortable, but comfort brings little meaning. Meaning is born from effort, from pushing limits, from doing what matters even when it is challenging. After finishing something difficult, you feel a deep sense of fulfillment that comfort can never provide. It is the quiet pride that comes from knowing you earned your progress. You do not have to choose extreme challenges. Even small, difficult actions matter. Waking up early, finishing the tasks you avoid, speaking honestly, exercising discipline, learning new skills, facing uncomfortable truths. These choices build the foundation of mental strength. Remember this: the mind grows when challenged, just like a blade becomes sharp when struck against stone. Choose the difficult path, not because it is hard, but because it makes you stronger. The world is full of quick rewards, small bursts of pleasure that feel good in the moment but leave nothing behind. A click, a snack, a distraction, a shortcut. These things offer immediate satisfaction, but they take your focus away from what truly matters. Discipline requires the ability to delay pleasure, to hold off on short-term comfort, so you can pursue long-term purpose. This skill is one of the strongest forms of self-control and one of the greatest predictors of a meaningful life. When you delay pleasure, you send a message to yourself: my future matters more than this moment's comfort. This simple belief shapes your path. People who rely on instant pleasure often move in circles. They start something, get distracted, and never finish. They chase quick rewards, but the rewards disappear as fast as they come. Meanwhile, their goals remain out of reach. But when you put purpose above pleasure, something changes. You begin to think beyond this moment. You act with intention instead of impulse. You build habits that take you forward instead of sideways. You stop asking, "What feels good now?" and begin asking, "What will benefit me later?" This shift is small but powerful. It transforms the way you live. Delaying pleasure does not mean rejecting joy. It means choosing the kind of joy that lasts. There is shallow pleasure, which fades quickly, and deep pleasure, which comes from progress, mastery, growth, and self-respect. Shallow pleasure is easy. Deep pleasure requires effort, but it rewards you far more in the end. Every time you delay a short-term reward, you strengthen your willpower. It is like training a muscle. At first, it's difficult. You feel the urge to give in, to check your phone, to rest instead of work, to eat the easy meal, to choose distraction over discipline. But when you resist the urge, even for a few minutes, your inner strength grows. With practice, the urge loses its power, and your purpose gives you direction. Much of life's frustration comes from choosing short-term pleasure at the cost of long-term satisfaction. You might feel good in the moment, but later you feel guilt, regret, or disappointment. You know you could have used your time better. You know you could have honored your goals. This creates a cycle of guilt that weakens self-trust. But when you delay pleasure and follow your purpose, you build self-respect. You start to trust yourself again. You feel proud of your actions, even before you see the results. This confidence carries you through difficult days. You stop being controlled by temptation and begin controlling your own life. Purpose requires sacrifice. This is the truth many people avoid. You cannot achieve meaningful goals without giving up something: comfort, time, distraction, convenience. But what you give up is small compared to what you gain. The temporary discomfort of discipline creates the permanent strength of a well-lived life. To master delayed pleasure, begin small. Instead of seeking immediate comfort, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, will this move me toward or away from the person I want to become? That question alone can change your decision. Delaying pleasure becomes easier when you stay connected to your why, your purpose, your long-term vision, your deeper meaning. There is also freedom in delayed pleasure. When you no longer depend on constant stimulation, you feel lighter, calmer. Your mind becomes clearer. You stop chasing temporary highs and start building lasting fulfillment. You become less reactive to cravings and more guided by intention. In the end, delaying pleasure is an act of respect for your future self.